Right, we're here at Dale Youth Boxing Club with boxing guru Martin Bowers. Now, Martin, they've done a great job of it here, haven't they?
You've just put that right on me there, Richard, haven't you? Thank you very much. Yeah, they've done a great job. It's excellent to see. What a great facility. I mean, it's got to be great for the area, hasn't it?
It strikes me as almost like a millennial peacock.
It's unbelievable. It's really a nice place. It's got a great feel in here. I mean, wow.
Now, the reason we are here is a little bit of a workout before next Friday at the Royal Albert Hall, where you've got Daniel Dubois headlining against Ebenezer the Geezer. What's your thoughts on the fight at this stage? You've obviously had a good look at Tete.
As I said, we've took it very seriously. We've been lucky enough or fortunate enough to fly some very good sparring partners in from America. We've also had sparring come from Croatia. So, I mean, you know.
Does it ever sink in with you, but the Commonwealth title will be the 7th title Daniel will have fought for in just 13 fights?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? I mean, yeah, what a great journey he's had so far, and hopefully it continues. I mean, as you can see, he's growing into it. The public are warming to him, and hopefully that's what we wanted from the off. And I think, you know, it's just a great journey so far. What can I say?
What you can say is giving me a reaction to Daniel winning Best Young Boxer of the Year from the Boxing Writers Club.
Well, as you see from the write-up, I mean, I was chuffed to bits for him, and so was he. I mean, what a great acknowledgement. As you said, 13 fights coming up, and he's done that. It's, you know, in the company that he's in there. I mean, we both know going back to like John Conte, you know, it's great company to be in. I mean, Ricky Hatton, there's everyone who's anyone. Groves, who boxed for this club, actually won it. I mean,
John H. Tracy.
But as we're here in this club, I'm saying like Groves to have won that and Daniel to have won that, both boxing for this club, is phenomenal.
Does it even take you by surprise, the startling, speedy progress that Daniel's made? Did you imagine this course of events when you first took him on?
Well, to be fair, obviously we knew he was a great talent, or potentially a great talent. I think Frank showed a lot of faith in Daniel and BT, as we've said before. And yeah, it's like, you know, I don't know what to say. It's hard because it's funny when you're living the journey, you're not looking at it from the outside in. Does that make sense? Yeah. And we're just doing what we do every day. It doesn't change what we do in the gym.
He's met all your expectations so far.
Yeah. Yes. And he's growing into a very nice young man.
Is it hard sometimes when you're mapping out your training and everything else, looking for those improvements? I know you'll say, but there's always room for improvement and you're never perfect, but sometimes it's hard to identify a weakness in him.
I think most trainers would be able to look at Dan and see they couldn't improve in one thing or another, and the things that we're working on, which, you know, we look at things every day, and when you get different sparring coming over, that exposes different things in Dan's game, and then we tweak them little things. But it's like everything, there's always room for improvement, and we're always learning as trainers and fighters. You go into the gym every day and you learn something from your fighter, and your fighter hopefully learns something from you.
Is he a model student?
I would say he's a model student, yeah.
Takes it all in.
It takes it all in, but like everything, you have to keep drilling things, and it's very boring, and it's very repetitive, and it's day in, day out. You do the same thing, and you know, some days you're on fire when you're doing it, and other days it's a little bit harder. But you know, generally on the night, he's been on point.
Last question: in the build-up to his last fight against Nathan Gorman, Nathan pointed out, or he offered the opinion, but Daniel had a very Eastern European style. I mean, I don't think he was meaning it as a negative. I mean, sort of, what do you think?
No, I don't think Nathan meant that disrespectfully at all. I think Nathan said that as an educated eye and was looking at the work that Daniel was doing, which is straight 1-2s. And, you know, you could look at that and say, well, that's quite basic, but basics work. That's why you drill them every day, you know. And all good fighters can do the basics. If you can do the basics, everything else will follow on. So if you can throw a good jab, all your shots will come off a good jab, you know. And as Nathan's identified that, it's like Dan was just turning over from the amateurs, and I think our amateur setup in England is second to none. That's my opinion. And I think we've been producing some great fighters, really good fighters. I shouldn't use the word great, really good fighters, because it's overused. But you know, we're just very lucky at the moment in England. I say it every time we talk. It's like I've never known boxing to be so good. We've got some really good talent coming through. And that's not just Daniel. I'm talking about across the board. We've got some good heavyweights all the way through the divisions. It's so exciting. If you're a fan today, you've had it off.
I said finally, but you know you're not going to get off quite that lightly. Denzel Bentley. He's in the top slots at the Royal Albert Hall. He's made great progress, and he's fighting Kelsey Ball, who's only got one loss to his name. So I mean, it's a good fight on the face of it.
It's another good learning fight for Denzel. Denzel's, you know, when I say this, I don't mean this disrespectfully to Denzel. He's fortunately enough, he's on the crest of Daniel, and he's getting that exposure now, and he is a very good fighter, and he's a very exciting fighter. I mean, we've always produced good middleweights. It's something that this country can do, you know, and he is one of them. He's very exciting. He never overly shone in the amateurs, but that sometimes happens. But I think in the pros, I think he's really gonna shine. That's what I like to think.
Well, you've said in the past, but you'll virtually take any fight for Denzel, such as the confidence you've got in him.
Well, I might have been saying that over a cup of coffee with me and you know, like just talking boxing, but yeah, we've got a lot of confidence in Denzel, and we obviously a lot of belief in him, like all trainers having their fighters. You know, I wouldn't want to overstep the mark with him, but I think he's ready for that next level, like English title to British standard, and that's not blowing his trumpet. I'm not calling any fighters out or saying anything about anybody, but he can mix with him.
Spiteful little sod, Chris Bourke. Now he's looking better and better, isn't he?
Oh yeah, Chris. I mean, just mentioning him puts a smile on my face and all of our faces. He's a box fighter, exciting, super bantamweight that can punch, mix it up, move. If you're a connoisseur, and I hope I ain't overusing that word, if you're a connoisseur of boxing and you really like your fighters, have a look at him. Yeah. And
James Branch got another outing last weekend.
James had another outing. He boxed very well, but unfortunately the fella he was boxing was a little bit negative, so we never see the best of Jamie. But that's boxing, you know what I mean? That's the opponent. He's got a different script from Jamie, and Jamie has to cope with that. But for me, he ticked quite a few of the boxes. He done 6 rounds. He looked good. He looked strong. He held his form. The 4th round he boxed very well. You know, it's a learning curve. Jamie's a top amateur, but I'm not saying this is a different game, but it's a little bit, you know, there's a few things need tweaking. When I say that, I don't mean about Daniel. I'm saying from when you go from amateur to pro, and he's in that process. So we're, you know,
Martin,
I've got lots of faith in him.
Martin, the Guru Bowers, thank you very much.
Did you have to finish like that?